Sometimes there's nothing better than getting caught up in a good movie. And when they decide to shock you with a major twist, it can rock your world, staying in your mind forever. From seeing dead people to being the son of a Sith, we can't get enough of that tasty goodness. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are the 25 most shocking plot twists in movie history. Oh, and in case it wasn't obvious, spoilers. 25. Malignant. It probably won't make the list of greatest movies of all time, but the horror movie Malignant from 2021 contains one shocker of a twist. The story focuses on a woman having disturbing visions of murder, but who is committing these gruesome crimes? The answer is herself. She actually has an evil host inside her in the shape of Gabriel. He's her parasitic twin, but he doesn't play nice. 24. The Others. Nicole Kidman starred in this wartime gothic chiller from 2001. Her seemingly normal character wants to protect her children in their big creepy house. She asks the staff to close the curtains because her little ones are light sensitive, but there's a mother of a twist coming. It's revealed that Kidman and her family died. Or rather, she was so grief-stricken from the death of her husband that she went crazy and murdered her children. That makes them all ghosts. The others of the title are living people who just want a peaceful time in their new home. 23. Parasite. This modern South Korean classic from 2019 won Oscars. With a story concerning class conflict in a tightly ordered society, it was always going to be fascinating. But what made it really effective was its incredible twist. The cool-looking house that the poor family infiltrated had a dark secret lurking beneath the surface. Actually, it was in the basement. The housekeeper's debt-ridden husband was hiding out down there, leading to bloody consequences. In an added twist, the poor family's father then had to conceal himself in the basement, where he became trapped. 22. Les Diaboliques. Two women plot to kill a monster of a husband in this 1955 thriller. Of course, there are some twists and turns along the way. Especially twists. I mean, it is on this list after all. Audiences were shocked to discover that the man they thought had been killed was very much alive. What's more, he was working alongside one of the women to frighten the other one to death. 21. The Sixth Sense. "I see dead people" was the memorable line from 1999's The Sixth Sense. It proved to be true in more ways than one, as Haley Joel Osment's little boy knew Bruce Willis's character was dead the whole time. Whether you guessed the legendary twist or not, you probably enjoyed the movie that launched director M. Night Shyamalan in Hollywood. He went on to make more movies with killer twists, such as The Village and Old. And the biggest M. Night Shyamalan twist of all is how he managed to take the story of Avatar: The Last Airbender and turn it into a crap movie. What a twist. 20. The Life of David Gale. Some movie plot twists are super shocking, but also kind of baffling. That applies to the 2003 drama The Life of David Gale. The titular character is a campaigner who's against the death penalty. Unfortunately, he himself is on death row for murder. Audiences' minds were blown when it was revealed that Gale set up the whole situation so he could go on death row and highlight the injustice he was rallying against. Couldn't you have just waved a placard or something? Hey guys, just jumping in here real quick to tell you some exciting news. You know how you love watching our videos for amazing facts? Well, what if I told you that you could also have 500 amazing facts in the palm of your hand? That's right, we wrote a book. This one right here. What the facts are you talking about? And you can order it right now and have List 25 right in your library or on your coffee table or wherever it is you keep your books. It's available right now on Amazon, so click the link in the description and grab yourself and friends and family a copy today. 19. Citizen Kane. One of the most talked about plot twists in movie history happens in Citizen Kane. The 1941 classic was directed by the iconic Orson Welles, who was only a young guy at the time. A big mystery in the film is the meaning behind Rosebud. Title character Charles Foster Kane says it right before he dies, but what is it? Great meaning is placed on Rosebud, but it turns out to be the name of his childhood toy, a sled which is dumped on a fire at the climax of the story. 18. Atonement. In 2007, Keira Knightley and James McAvoy played lovers in period drama Atonement. Unfortunately for them, the young character and movie's storyteller, Bryony, played by Saoirse Ronan, thinks McAvoy's character is a rapist. This leads to an unpleasant accusation and devastating consequences. The twist comes from the way the story is told by Bryony, whose false perspective on the situation leads to her becoming what's called an unreliable narrator. McAvoy was in fact innocent, and he and Knightley's love story has a far from happy ending. 17. Shutter Island. Martin Scorsese's 2010 thriller sees Leonardo DiCaprio as an investigator in over his head in an asylum. What's he investigating? Well, the big twist is that he's investigating himself, and that actually there is no investigation at all. DiCaprio has imagined himself as a law enforcer to work through his issues as a patient who murdered his own wife. 16. Memento. Christopher Nolan is arguably the biggest director in Hollywood today, but back in 2000, he still had to make his name. Memento was a major success for him, focusing on Guy Pearce's intriguing lead character. Suffering from memory loss, Pearce had to piece together the mystery of his wife's death from the beginning every day. Helping him is Joe Pantoliano's character, or so Pearce believes. In fact, Pantoliano is fooling Pearce into hunting down and killing the wrong man for his own reasons. It was Pearce who killed his wife accidentally with an insulin injection. What's your favorite plot twist in a movie ever? Let me know in the comments below. And just know there are spoilers if you go in the comments. That's all I'm going to say. 15. Chinatown. 1974's Chinatown was one of the biggest films of Jack Nicholson's career, though his detective character, J.J. Gittes, received a huge shock in the movie's famous climax. He discovered that his client-turned-lover, Evelyn, had a more complex relationship with her powerful father than he imagined. The gut-wrenching conclusion reveals that Evelyn became pregnant by her dad, leading to the immortal line, "Forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown." 14. Scream. This postmodern slasher film turned horror on its head back in 1996. Directed by Wes Craven of A Nightmare on Elm Street fame, it featured self-aware teens commenting on horror movie conventions while becoming victims of the mysterious ghost face. There was definitely a killer, just not a single knife-wielding maniac. The big twist was that two people were behind the murders. No badly burned child murderer or a guy in a hockey mask here, only two dangerous individuals with homicidal tendencies. 13. Get Out. Jordan Peele's game-changing horror movie from 2017 is about racial politics. It also packs a very weird twist. Central character Chris finds himself in the middle of a sinister sci-fi situation where privileged white people want to implant their brains into his body. Audiences were expecting a roller coaster ride, but maybe not such a twisty-turny one. 12. The Cabin in the Woods. There are a few horror movies about young people trapped in the woods, but none of them are like 2011's The Cabin in the Woods. If the story seems a little familiar, that's because it is. What appears to be a standard horror scenario is in fact a setup by scientists who want to make human sacrifices for their ancient gods. Anyone who says they saw that plot twist coming deserves to be fed to Cthulhu himself. 11. Psycho. In 1960, director Alfred Hitchcock released Psycho. Known for getting heavily involved with the publicity for his movies, Hitchcock told theaters not to allow audiences in once the film had started. This was because the star of Psycho, Janet Leigh, is brutally murdered partway into the story. The famous shower scene twist shocked viewers, who expected Leigh to be the main character in the action. Instead, that becomes Norman Bates, played by Anthony Perkins. He has his own issues, surprising moviegoers again with the big reveal that he carried out the murder while dressed as his own mother. 10. 7. What's in the box? Those who saw David Fincher's Seven in 1995 remember that question well. The serial killer at the center of the story is slaughtering people based on the 7 deadly sins. There are 2 more to go by the end of the story, envy and wrath. Wrath is when Brad Pitt's detective shoots the killer dead. As for envy, that's what the shocking twist is about. The villain's box contains the head of Pitt's dead partner, played by Gwyneth Paltrow. This crime of envy leads to Pitt using his wrath to execute the perpetrator. 9. The Empire Strikes Back. Even non-Star Wars fans know about this incredible twist. Toward the end of The Empire Strikes Back from 1980, Darth Vader reveals the infamous truth behind his identity. He is, in fact, Anakin Skywalker, Luke's father. But there's a twist behind the twist, and it's a real-life one. The actor who wore the Darth Vader suit, David Prowse, told the press about the big secret in 1978. This led to him not being invited to events in case he revealed more about the planned story. In fairness, Prowse reportedly didn't realize he was spoiling the plot. Unfortunately, he created a total Sith storm. 8. Donnie Darko. It's one of the most mysterious and memorable movies of all time. Donnie Darko from 2001 starred a young Jake Gyllenhaal as a teen who sees a creepy human-sized rabbit against the backdrop of a devastating event where a plane crashes into his house while he's not there. Gyllenhaal's title character finds himself caught in a terrible sequence of events that can seemingly only be resolved with one thing. In the movie's shattering twist, he goes back in time to the point where the plane crashed and ensures he dies inside the house. 7. Fight Club. Brad Pitt and David Fincher worked together on Seven, and they teamed up again a few years later to make Fight Club. This mind-blowing story of an underground community knocking the hell out of each other features two main characters, Edward Norton's narrator and Pitt's Tyler Durden. Tyler is an out-of-control character who eventually ends up trying to destroy modern civilization. Thing is, Tyler is a figment of Norton's imagination. He's the one doing everything, and the chaotic events of the movie's climax are all on him. 6. Soylent Green. The 1973 sci-fi drama Soylent Green takes its title from a mystery food source consumed by the inhabitants of a terrible future. Star Charlton Heston makes a shocking and famous discovery about where Soylent Green comes from. Put it this way, it's not plant-based. In fact, the product is made from the bodies of dead people. Heston had form for major plot twists. He also found out the monkey world was a future Earth in the devastating climax to Planet of the Apes. 5. Saltburn. For some, Saltburn was a modern classic. Barry Keoghan is the underprivileged young man who enters a world of wealth and hedonism at the sprawling family home of the title. But is everything what it seems? In a nasty twist, Keoghan's character is revealed as manipulating everyone as part of his own bloody story, one with a weird and brutal outcome. 4. The Third Man. It may be a black and white movie, but The Third Man is murky and ambiguous with its characters. Set in post-war Vienna, the 1949 story follows writer Holly Martins, who is looking for his old friend Harry Lime. Lime, played by Orson Welles, turns out to be far from the hero that's suggested. At first, Martins is told Lime is dead. He probably wishes he was, because it's revealed in the twist that Lime was running a shady business selling black market penicillin. The bad medicine has killed children, making him pretty disgusting. Strangely, they made a TV series of The Third Man, where Lime was the supposedly lovable protagonist. 3. The Usual Suspects. Thriller The Usual Suspects from 1995 asks an important question. Who is Kaiser Soze? The police try to figure out the identity of this mysterious villain as they question a seemingly minor figure from the criminal underworld. As the story flashes back, we get caught up in an exciting tale of robbery and deception. When it comes, the twist turns everything upside down. The minor figure isn't so minor. He is in fact Kaiser Soze himself, and he's been making up the events of the movie from details on the police notice board in front of him. 2. Don't Look Now. Don't Look Now from 1973 is a creepy story of grief that leaves a lasting impact on the audience. A huge plot twist is the reason for that. Coming at the end of the movie, it's both shocking and cruel. Donald Sutherland's character has already had a tough time following the death of his child. Maybe going to Venice with his wife Julie Christie will help? Wrong. Everything on the trip becomes very eerie and unsettling. During the climax, Sutherland sees someone he thinks is his deceased daughter. Actually, it's a murderous little person who cuts the poor man's throat and he dies. Don't you just love a happy ending? 1. Frozen. This one is the coldest of all. Frozen introduces the character Prince Hans, who you'd think would be a typical heroic type with the kind of kiss that can save the day, right? Amazingly, Disney decided to shock everyone with a twist where Hans is revealed as the nasty villain. This isn't the movie I ordered. Still, the twist played a big role in the film's success, with Frozen going on to be a box office hit. Now that we've taken a trip into the world of movies, do you want to see some still images with terrifying backstories? If so, check on the link to that video right here, and I'll catch you next time. Let me know, and again,